Hello, Brian. How's the impact today? Took a shit on you? We're still going strong. Hello, Johnny. North Carolina. Beautiful North Carolina today. Got some cooler weather. Sure, that makes travel nice. Framing, no impact. I might be a little out of the loop, but when you're doing a framing job, how much of that is nail gun versus the old hammer and nails? Kyle, the school gob wasn't too terrible. Uh, they brought, we had two different kinds of mashed potatoes, had turkey, had chicken filet nuggets, green beans, um, some other stuff, lots of cookies. Testing baits. What kind of baits? Hello, Little Rich. Snow in West Virginia. Black pepper reveal. I did have I did bring the pumpkin pie, and I did have someone say, "Did you make the pumpkin pie?" I said I did. She said, "It's the best pumpkin pie I've ever eaten." I said, "Really?" And she said, "It's no joke. I'm not saying that. It's the best pumpkin pie I've ever had." I said, "Well, glad you enjoyed it." What else? Well, all the parents brought it. Like it was funny because the kids, they gave the kids a sheet and asked the kids, "What do you want your parents to bring, or what do you want to bring for Thanksgiving?" And the bean wrote pumpkin pie. And there was some kids writing some wild shit that like I was talking to one of the teachers and she was like, "Dude, there were some kids writing stuff that like they don't even eat." Like one kid wanted to bring pickles and crackers, and she was like, "The kid doesn't even eat pickles." Uh, Hello, Scott York. Uh, a rare 316. That was a very succulent hot chocolate, AJ. That struck me as a personal job. I felt like that was something that was maybe a little nearer and dearer to your heart. Maybe not. Maybe it's just pain on the bait. Pup is pissed at something. Probably there's a guy next door going through the trash. Hot chocolate's a great color. It's I mean, who makes it besides Ed and Bandit? Uh, Besides those two, can you get hot chocolate on any other bait? Snow, yuck. It got into the high 40s last night. Oh, come on, boo boo. Like literally all somebody has to do is drive up in the parking lot next door and like just like park, and she's like, "Oh, you're an asshole." BBC, you are funny. You are funny. AJ did look at a hot chocolate Bagley in my muscle box. Where'd you get a hot chocolate Bagley? Where'd that come from? Oh yeah, this is Johnny. You still got the same number? Yes, we even went to the camper profile looking for your phone number, and it was still wrong. You got any deer hunting? No, no deer hunting for me. Didn't get drawn in the Kansas lottery for a deer tag, so I will not be doing any deer hunting this year, which is fine. Which is fine. Batch of repaints headed your way next week or so. Perfect. That will fit in perfectly. What do you have planned, Scott? Can you give me a sneak peek of what type of baits I might be enjoying? Grizzly, you can't buy them out over the counter. No, it's a lottery. You the ripoff is you pay like 250 bucks, or it might be more now. We'll just call it 250. You pay 200 bucks to get in the lottery, and if you get drawn, you don't get. Yeah, you haven't been getting the camper, Johnny, because you got a new number and didn't tell anybody. We chats. Mormon's fun. I like that. I like that. Uh, do I have the spinning wheel of bad service? That wouldn't surprise me. Um, California does that, and if you don't keep trying, you lose your preference points. Yeah, that's how it is for Kansas. Is that now that we didn't get drawn, we get preference next year, which is so stupid. Like, I feel like you should have preference points to get a tag every year. Like if you've been going, like we've been going for like at least 10 years. Like if you've been hunting the same county for 10 years, you should be able to get a tag. You know what I mean? Like what do they expect people to do that like lease property? Like if we liked it so much, we're like we're just gonna buy, or like we're gonna buy property out here. And I guess if you buy it, you get some sort of, which I think that's goofy too. I don't know. I guess you could. I don't know how that would work. If that would allow you to get an in-state license or not. Uh, an Alaska lottery, how much is it? Uh, yes, we draw as a group. I think we draw as a 4-pack. So that way, one person doesn't get drawn and then dicks everybody else. Oh, I had a sneeze. Oh. Oh. Old Bobby, old. He didn't show. Hella filled in. Dude, I've been ripping some sneezes today. Little Debbie foiled. No, I passed on the Little Debbie's. Maybe AJ wants to. Maybe AJ wants to step up, fill the void. Putting AJ, if you ever draw another guy to get in contact. Would that be AJ? How would you do that? Would you go hunt public land or would you go hunt privately? And Morgan, do you know the private land guy or do you know the public land guy? Camper preference points. I have yeah, the last couple of years I had preference points, and the top 5 camper preferences would get Christmas stuff. I think that's how I did it. I don't know that I did that last year. I think I did it 2 years ago. Or last year. I don't remember. No, I don't think I did it off Patreon. I did it off my website. But he scouts them by plane. That's pretty hardcore. Do lakes in Kansas ice up? I would assume some of them do. The problem is I don't know what level of we need Stearman in here because he could tell us all about Kansas. They've been in a pretty bad drought, and the drought, I'm guessing, is still a thing. So a lot of the lakes are probably real low, which would make them more prone to icing. There's almost zero public in Nebraska. You have to pay a trespass fee to get on any good ground. Interesting. Very interesting. Are there what's the deal though, AJ? What's it like? Why is it so hard to get you being a resident, why is it so hard for you to get an elk permit? Are there that many people applying for Nebraska? Is like Nebraska the hub? Is Nebraska like the Gunnersville of elk? He lives in the Northwest somewhere. They only give out 2 elk tags. It sounds like it. And there's only 1 elk in Nebraska. Not that many tags. Bulls are once in a lifetime. My dad drew his first try. Huh. Bulls are once in a lifetime. Wow. That's pretty impressive. $5,000 for the trespass fee. Huh. Yeah, I'd probably just be hunting somewhere else. I'd probably just maybe not elk hunt. I hear it tastes good though. I've never had the opportunity to eat any that I know of. But odds of getting a bull tag, same as TK putting scissors back. This is true. This is true. You probably have a better chance getting an elk tag, honestly. Probably have a better chance. Hell, is your boat up for good? We happened to door knock on the right door, and he got us in like 40,000 acres of private land for us to antelope hunt between him, his brother, and his neighbors. Just door knocking? What are you? What are you, the damn Roy, bro? You part of this? You part of the Sikh gang? Sikh 2? Oh no! Oh no! Hella, do you ever do any Do you ever do any wintertime trips where you travel other places, like outside of like work trips? Do you ever plan, or have you in the past planned a fishing trip in the wintertime, somewhere not cold? Ranchers hate antelope. They found out. Yeah, that's how it was in Kansas. Like the ranchers hate deer. Uh, where did you go on a wintertime trip, hello? And was the juice worth the squeeze? Oh, saying in Kansas the ranchers hate deer because water is like gold, and come to find out, deer drink a lot of water. So when you're in the middle of a drought and you got these deer running around drinking all your water, that's water your cows don't get. So uh, yeah, they're not high on the list. Fork, homicide, and falcon. Was it fun? I guess it wasn't that great since you haven't been back. Basically, we said, "Hey, we are here from Arkansas to bow hunt antelope, and we're going to hunt public, but saw some of your land." We're here to hunt some public bullshit with a bunch of other scumbags, but we happened to drive past your beautiful property and wanted to know if we could come kill your animals. Did time restriction understood? Spent so much wasted time and stamina when I was young. I felt with plots we did your revolution. I just quit fishing. I'm with you, Johnny. Uh, Kansas in their water, yeah, it's a thing. It is a thing. Well, Morgan, when you do your camper live and show everybody how to build rods, you can tell everybody the door knocking story. Anybody interested in learning how to build a rod? Morgan said he'd show the ways of his fine artisanal rod building. You know what's crazy is there's that Japanese rod builder. I forget what he's called. It's like a company or a brand, but they have all these videos, and I get sucked into them. And it's nothing but the dude. It's like a close up of the guy with the brush, like the epoxy brush and the epoxy, and he puts it on the guide wraps, and it just shows him like brushing on the epoxy and the rod spinning. It's like mesmerizing. Matt Steffen's big into rod building. Does he talk about it? I need to build some of my own rods to go with the 60 others I already have. What's your go-to rod, Scott? My thing is I don't need to build a rod. Like I don't need to build myself rods. What I need to do is I need to repair all of mine. As I told Morgan, uh, my my guides are popping off like popcorn now. Like they're at the age where the epoxy's drying up, the threads are starting to get worn out, and every time I set the hook, it's another guide like breaking through. Um, but so I just want to keep my rods in good shape, and they look professional. Because I've gotten to the point now where I'm having so many guides pop off and like rod issues that like it's not going to be very cost effective for me to take somebody like 9 rods and have them fix like 3 guides per rod. Like at that point, I just need to be able to do it myself. Uh, JP, what kind of bucket of reels are we talking? Loomis's. Scott's a Loomis guy. Uh, yeah, I never got into the Loomis's. They never. A couple buddies of mine had them, and I never like fell in love with them. I think it's because at the time I couldn't beat the Academy over the counter, no questions asked, uh, all star warranty. Break it, just bring it back, and we'll give you another one. And I did that a lot. And it wasn't typically from fishing; it was from slamming them in the doors or the tailgate or like the cleats on the side of the boat. Got a bunch of them. Um, Scott, I wish you would have went through a Powell phase. That would have been great. Because you would have probably have all the rods that I need. Yeah, the Dobbins are similar in action to the Powells. They feel pretty close. Like if I had to re-rod and somebody just like gave me a bunch of Dobbins, it wouldn't feel that different. The counter warranties ruined the local shop down here. I couldn't get the company to send new ones. I can believe that, Tyler. Eventually we ran out of gas at Academy. They quit doing it. Or I think what happened was it wasn't that the warranty ended, is that All Star rods went down the toilet. They were terrible. Like they used to be awesome. Like when this first started, we were buying those like made in the USA uh, All Stars, and they were great. Like the Zell Roll Top Water Special and all that stuff. And I guess because of us breaking so many rods and returning them over the counter, they kept having to cut cost to the point where, at the end of the day, All Star became trash. So I guess I can thank myself for ruining All Star. I was probably the All Star grass rake. I don't remember that one. That wouldn't have been popular here because nobody needed anything that was grass related. What was the what was the what was the what was the technique that the grass rake was for? Like punching? Kyle, I do too. I've still got all of them. The only rod I've ever sold, I sold it to my buddy Blaine, and it was my I sold him my two Lama Glass Skeet Reese cranking sticks, and I don't miss them. I liked them at the time for whatever reason, but yeah, I don't miss those. Uh, Dragging a sea rig, grass rake. It's a good name. They had a All Star had a they had a snag proof series frog and rod that was pretty cool. Um, like way early on before frog rods were a thing. They had a snag proof series. What's wrong with the Enigmas? Johnny, I don't know if you've heard me. Thanks, Clay. I don't know if you heard me. The Bean told me today going to school to her Thanksgiving that I needed to look handsome. I said, okay. She was very, very sweet last night. What did she say? She was like, remember when I can't remember. I have to go back and look. A little place called Aspen. Someplace warm. Uh oh, yeah, Enigma rods. Um so I went to the Classic when it was in Conroe. Sorry if you heard this story 50 times, but I went to the Classic at Conroe. This is for Johnny, and I went like Tacklecraft was doing its thing. It was on the uptick. So I said, let me go see what's going on in the industry. Um, let me see what's out there. Let me see what I'm up against here with these guys. So as far as like effort goes, right? So I go, and my whole mission was to just kind of test the waters and see what people were about and what their companies were about and how they approached customers and that kind of thing. Just customer service pretty much. So I walked around the whole damn show. I think on Saturday I stayed for like 10 hours. I just walked around the whole show, like back and forth, and nobody talked to me. Um, First off, like I'd go just like looking around and finger people's baits, and uh, I take that back. A couple people did. Y'all probably know the guy. It's the duo guy. I think it was the duo guy, David Swinstead. If you follow him on Facebook, dude's like very passionate about duo. But he talked a lot. But I don't think he talked to me. I think he talked to a guy I was with, but then I just kind of like walked by and like got sucked into a conversation. Um, Finger people's baits, pretty much. Um, so uh, I go and I go past the Enigma booth, and the Enigma guy, 10-hour lurker. I was a 10-hour lurker, but I was a customer, is what I was. Is I was a potential customer, and I went past the Enigma booth, and they had this like Sham Lao guy selling rods, and he was just standing out. It was like an infomercial. He was standing out on like in the middle of the kind of walkway where you had to walk around him, all by design. And he was standing there with like a rod, like holding his rod, like teeter tottering it. And when somebody would walk by, he would say, "Hey, you want to try to break my rod?" Brilliant. And of course, they're like, "Sure." And he's like, "All right, well," and he had like a weight on the end of it, and he had a reel on it. And he'd be like, "All right, you hold this, you hold the weight, or you hold the rod, or I don't remember what the pitch was, but you'd see people like pulling down the rod like as hard as they could, and like he's like, can't break it. And so I was like, man, these Enigma people are like, they're trying, right? Like they're trying to get in front of people, get you to actually try their rods. So that was commendable, um, and amusing. I don't know how many rods they sold, but the majority of everybody, like the anglers, um, they didn't do shit. Like if I had any of those guys on my payroll, I'd be pretty pissed because all of them sat around with their thumbs up their dick, just like small talking with each other, and there'd be like tons of people in the booth that are like would probably love to talk to you or get some insight from you, a pro, which would mean a ton, dude. Like you got to think if you're like shopping for a rod and like whoever pro is in the booth was like, "Hey, that's my favorite rod for like throwing a frog." It's like, really? It's like, yeah, it's their it's their Cinco rod, but that's my favorite rod for throwing a frog. I'm like, oh no shit, cool. And but I didn't see any of that. I didn't see guys putting forth effort, and that kind of surprised me actually. Um, but so after that, I was like, I don't know if I want to hear these guys bitching about like sponsorship and like getting paid and stuff because from what I saw, nobody was working. Um, yeah, you might get canceled for that kind of maneuver these days. Hey, you want to see how hard you can pull on my rod? You want to tug on my rod real hard? See if you can make my rod bend. My parents' original Ginsu. It's impressive. I don't recall any childhood besides the banjo minnow. But I don't know if the fishermen were just like jaded, if they didn't care, if they weren't great at like just like speaking to people, if they it looked like it was more like a they'd speak when spoken to, but there never seemed to be a lot of those opportunities, um, because they were seemingly always talking to each other. Uh, I want to check the eyes on my rod. I'm gonna take the kid to the classic this year on Friday and not watch a single second of it. I don't blame you. The expos are fun, dude. They're great. Like there's a great energy at a classic expo. Like there's nothing like it. The tournament, like Hella said, uh, it's it's secondary, way down the list, but it's definitely worth going to, uh, just for the environment. That was also the first year, which it was really a cool time to be in Texas, because that was like when everything was like popping off in Texas. Like the Guggen Dicks were popping off, Six Sense was popping off. Um, like that was the year of the subscription boxes. So there was like those lucky tackle box douches. There was the mystery tackle box douches. There was like all those guys, Guggen Squad guys. They were there with favorite rods, and it was really funny because I think at the time Roland Martin had a favorite rod deal, and there was all these Guggens at the booth, and like there was these kids just like knocking Roland out of the way to get to like Turkla and John B and Perrick and all those guys, and like Roland was sitting there with his thumb up his ass, and I was like, how about that? It's got to suck. Bobby, I've never done any kind of show or expo or anything. I thought I was uh, I thought I was special because I got a I got a email from the marketing team at Major League Fishing like 3 years ago, 4 years ago, and they sent me an email and wanted, uh, the way it was worded was like, we definitely want people like niche people like you at the expo. And I thought it was like an invitation to like come set up, and I was like, sweet, yeah, I'll come do that, because I thought they were going to foot the bill. Like they wanted me there, okay. And then I got like I had like a follow up with the guy, and he's like, yeah, it's like $2,000 a day. I was like, nah, bro, I paint crankbaits. I'm not paying you that. Like, this is the first Red Crest. Like, nobody knows who's going to be there. I'm not going to pay you $6,000. Like, do you know how many crankbaits I have to sell? You know how many crankbaits I have to paint? Like, come on, dude. And this is like kind of short notice. Uh, I went to the '96 Classic in Birmingham. Yeah, all the Scott, all the ones in Birmingham are great. I've been to a couple. I went to the one Van Dam one. I went to the one uh, dipshit Duckett one. Um, but actually, I did a few in. I did a few things like that, Bobby, that were like small scale in Austin, where you'd like people would have like we did a thing. It was called what was it called? My dad's got the picture in there. It was like this. These folks restored vintage step vans, and they had like Step Fest, and it was down where it was like in this little warehouse district in the lot, the dirt lot of the warehouse. Uh, they did like a music show where they set up a stage and played music, and then they had everybody like come down. They had like vendors and stuff, and they asked me to like set up a table and like put myself on display. So I did that. I don't know. I don't think I sold a bait, but not exactly the crowd. But it was fun. Uh, Sat on the bridge and watched KV and beeswax. That's pretty cool. Yeah, like art in the park kind of stuff. Yeah, nothing to actually like sell anything. It's mainly just to like be an ass in a seat. Um, Set up with the rest of the artists at First Friday. I guess. I mean, that sounds similar to what this kind of was. Um, Pretty much just showing off what you do. Uh, give out a seminar on painting. Could certainly do that. Um, that's what I want to know, Kyle. I've always been very, very, very suspicious of that. I don't think you just show up to Lay Lake in February because, like, who knows that, right? Like, who knows to go to 2 feet of water in the very back end of a creek and throw a red eye shad at individual stumps in February at Lay Lake in beeswax? That just, I mean, I just feel like when you're Kevin Van Dam, what we think of as Kevin Van Dam, Michigan guy, uh, when he launches his boat at beeswax for the first day of practice, he goes to the river or he goes somewhere else. Like it something. Uh, it could be a Michigan thing that it wasn't like to him. It wasn't that cold. Like it was like it's just odd though. It's just odd. I thought it was odd. We'll never know. We'll never know. But I always heard like the best pros get the best help, and they weren't getting it from like they'd get their info through their boat dealers and uh like other sponsors. Like a lot of it was through boat dealers, um, and you'd see it through like Navionics people and like Lowrance people and stuff like that. Um, but he did also find Katawachi. It's a lot of water to find Katawachi. Palaniuk found it. Who else? There's a couple more boats in there. Uh, Chumming his tournament waters could have been. Could have been. Rimitz and Amart were both in Katawachi. That was a good tournament, dude. Those fish were flipping freaks. Like they'd pull one out and it was like just like steroids. That was an awesome tournament. I need to go back and watch that one. What year was that? What year was that, Clay? Yeah, you see Remnants pop up from time to time. I've seen him on a couple shows, I feel like. But he's usually with somebody. What happened to that Casey guy that did the circuit breaker? He kind of fell off. And then he had some like monster bag at Gunnersville like a few years ago. He had like a 40-pound bag at Gunnersville and had a spot in there, or a couple of spots. But he fell off. But it's a known fact that Strike King hired pro staff to do shows with the tour guys on the upcoming tournament stops. Sounds believable. I don't know, but I was at the ramp they left out of 3 weeks ago. Oh, in Louisiana? It'd be a lot cooler if it was cold. Where is that? What tournament was that? LA Delta Bassmaster Classic. 2011? Dude, they've still got it on ESPN. That's pretty cool. The ESPN era was pretty good. People talk shit about it, but I mean, yeah, 2011. Yep. It's even got its own Wikipedia. Huh. Interesting. I was on the bayou from the ramp to Catawachi watching all the Louisiana Delta Bassmaster Classics. Yeah, they dicked Catawachi up. Didn't they open the spillway up or something? And it just trashed the place? Or they closed it or they did something. They reversed something and it didn't do good. But like a houseboat? But I want to say somebody told me that Catawachi was juicing. All right, Johnny. Have fun. It's time for me to go home too. Bayou Signet State Park. I feel like I can hear Tommy Sanders saying Bayou Signet State Park, or Reed Ryan, or any of those like old school ESPN commentators. KVD swim tested 3,000 1.5s to have 10 good ones. I've never heard that bit of info, Barnsey. Where did you hear that? How long would that take? I mean, I guess Kevin makes the call to Strike King and says, I need some 1.5s for this event. And like, all right, how many do you want? 3,000? Like, what do you want 3,000 for? Because, and the thing about having 3,000 baits is they can't sell those. Like, can they? Like, what happens to the other 2,990? I made it up, Burnsy. Not cool, dude. Made it up. JP, he's pulling our leg. He's pulling it. He's pulling our leg. What a dick. Builder dude's feeling sassy today. We bit though, builder dude. We bit. I gotta go get some blue tape. I would bet money he went through a bunch. Possibly. Possibly. There were pros. Scott, did you do that too? I don't know what was going on with that. But it definitely, that win definitely created a shitstorm of 1.5 Strike King purchases. It was insane. And it was because I was painting at that time, and very crudely, but I was still painting, and I would just go buy 1.5s in whatever color and blast them chartreuse blackback and put them on eBay, and they would sell instantly for like $25 or whatever. And I just did that. But there was, I guess that was the glory days though, dude, because like that tournament, you could do stuff like that where after that tournament you could just go get any 1.5 and you could blast it chartreuse blackback, and everybody had to have them because you couldn't get those. Everybody was sold out, and if you know, it was the only other choice was a painted one, and just people were coming out of the woodworks buying these things, and so after that, Randy Howell won on the Demon DT6 and the Howler. We'll say the Howler, but the DT6, and you couldn't get Demon DT6s, so I just went and bought whatever colored DT6 was available and sprayed those Demon and put them on eBay, and those would sell for $30 a piece, and I couldn't paint those things fast enough. Like I would go to Academy and like clear the pegs, and I would paint them all in whatever fake Demon that I was painting, and throw them up on eBay. The next morning, they'd all be gone. Then I go to some other store and find all their DT6s and do it all over again. And that lasted for like a couple months. But there was like a couple years there, like when I was getting started, that you had those like waves of something triggering people to like buy stuff like that. And it was very like, it's part of the reason why I am probably doing what I'm doing now, because like I was able to make a little bit of money when I normally wouldn't have, right? Um, so it was like getting a Christmas bonus every year from like a classic win. Um, but I don't feel like there's been one of those as far as in the custom painting world. Maybe I haven't been paying attention, but um, like the DT6, the Howler win Demon, that's the last one I can think of where you could just paint it remotely close and put it on eBay, and people would just like couldn't buy them fast enough. Um, Kyle, see, I don't know. I think there's so many trunk slammers now that like you wouldn't see it like before you even knew what had happened. You would probably have like 100 dudes like already like copying whatever it was and have like the internet flooded with it. The Lord sent Randy to throw the demon. How about that? He probably calls it by a different name. The red one. The red one. Demon would have a mini boom every year for a few years. Yeah, it was it was still on people's radars. AJ, can you think of anything? Uh can you think of anything like in recent years that like that happened like that? He calls it the howler. Uh have not Burns. They're right here looking at me. Maybe I'll go do that tomorrow. Because Eric still hasn't written me back and told me what color he wants these damn crankbaits. So every day he doesn't message me, the price goes up. Northern Secret 110, but nowhere near the Demon Craze. Was the Northern Secret from a tournament win? Yeah, Fire Crawl was pretty crazy for a while. Didn't affect me because I wasn't making fire crawls, but I'm trying to think of a paint job. But what was so stupid about the 1.5 Strike King was it was just yellow and black. Like it was the most standard color possible on a very generic crankbait body. And it was like people had never, like the world had never seen chartreuse blackback before. You know what I mean? Like that's what it felt like. Like you could post a chartreuse and black 1.5 and it was like you just put the Mona Lisa up and people are like, holy shit. Give me that. Give me that. Take my money. I don't care how much. Just give me the damn chartreuse blackback. And I was thinking, like, the whole time I was painting, I was like, dude, I've got like 100 of these things in like various styles of baits. Like, why aren't people buying these? JP, there was a couple different. Let me see if I have them. Worms. There was a couple different variations, and I think what they had to do was I think what they had to do was got another sneeze. What they had to do was to keep up with demand. I think they had to go from Costa Rica manufacturing. I think they had to piggyback with China to fill orders. So they had the Costa Rican plant kicking them out, and then they also had China kicking them out. I bought these as a color variant because this was the original bluegill color, and they changed it and made it weird looking. And I bought these thinking that people were gonna like really want this original color, but they didn't. So I got a little mini bag of those. I don't know what these are. Jackals. Cheddar pieces. Hot Lips Express. Why do I have those? Here you go. So let's see where these are. Yeah, here you go. Here's an example. Same time. So this is the Costa Rican one. Check the red gill and the black dot. So this is what they were pumping out. KVD wins. They called China and they say, we need chartreuse blackback 1.5s. Lots of them. And they say, okay. And they pump this one out. Notice. No gill. No dot. I don't know if that was to save time or what. But both of them have a red throat. Yeah. So that's the difference. Just those odd manufacturing things that you notice. I guess that shows you how many of those bastards I was painting because I was like picking up on that shit like that. Nasty Nate, you need some. Are you really interested in these? I have. Let's see how many I have. Uh-oh. The only problem with these might be is I think this color was exclusive to the Rattling series. These aren't silent. These rattle. Bluegill. These were Chinese. China. I think they did name one Katawachi Special. Let's look. Let's see what I did with them. Nope. Blackback chartreuse. Same SKU, same everything. 51034, 20736. That matches up. 535. Yep. They're the same. Different colors. What else is in this box? Ooh, good old Normans. How many of these do I have? Dude, I thought this color was going to be so freaking good, and it sucks. For whatever reason, that color was very sexy to me. I paid $4 US for this bait. And I never caught jack shit on it. Blue Flash was the gel coat. It says gel coat. but it's not a gel coat glitter. It's just, I don't know. I thought that one was going to catch them, but it didn't. Not for me, at least. Now these, those are the juice. There's a deep little lens, same color. Good old Tennessee shad. Got 2 Tennessee shads. Bag of bandits. Bag of ancient Sardis, Mississippi bandits. There's another Bill Lewis color variant. When they discontinued this largemouth bass. Eye drip? No, I don't have any of those. Those are extra rare, AJ. Only you've got those. Must be dusting in here. That was JPO's in New England. Your Santee darker water, it's a gold or chrome. Tennessee shad deep blue lin is the shit. It is, Scott, to me. Like, I don't know, maybe I just got a thing for Tennessee shad or that palette, but like Bagley Tennessee shad, I think, is the sexiest shad ever. And then probably second to that, the glitter job Tennessee shad Norman is right up there. Like, to me, those are like the like perfect examples of like badass crankbait colors. So, and it's odd that they're both called Tennessee shad and they're not really Tennessee shad, but yeah, they're just sexy, dude. They're just sexy. I mean, you could, the thing about the gel coat with the glitter is you could put any color under it and it would like, it would magnify the sexiness by like 100. Like, you could paint this thing white and put all this glitter on it. And the thing about the glitter is it's like every color imaginable. Like, there's orange, gold, green, purple, blue. Like, it's everything. But it's interesting because it's like they did a separate line. Like, the top is very lavender. Like, it's got a lot of blue in it. But the sides have more gold and orange in them and green. So it's like they did two washes of gel glitter. Yeah, it's hard to beat that guy. It's hard to beat that guy. Definitely not going to paint these because I like the glitter. I might do something to this one because I can paint over the glitter. But it really doesn't need anything. They're fine. And I don't like painting over those gel coats because they've already got so much clear on them. Just think how fast. I haven't experimented yet, but I want to experiment with a blank DD14 with very light coatings and compare it to a gel coated one and see how much faster it rises. Scott, I can. I could probably. I think I probably have an idea. Maybe. I don't know. I can imagine just opening up boxes and boxes. But you take everything out of the box, so all your stuff's in Plano's. I would imagine opening up Tupperwares of just like endless tiny ends, middle ends, baby ends. I don't. Oh, I know. Hella, all these baits are they're for the future, bro. I just took a little time off. I took about a I'm on about a 7 year hiatus, but I'm coming back. I'm coming back. And now that there's no entry fees, I'm gonna go fish the opens, qualify for the elites. AJ, he said he's going to have a tournament with me and you, and he's going to dangle those carrots over us and play this like this damn like twisted saw bass tournament to where uh, if we don't catch a bass on a whatever he chooses in a certain amount of time, we get our toes chopped off, and if we win, we get a DD14. Already back fishing derbies, not even weighed in. Bad start. But oh, it's 5:30. All right, dudes, I'm gonna go home. Good talking to y'all. Check your email, campers, if you haven't. There's an email there for you. So I'm hoping there's some reset currency. All right, that'll be good. Adios.